Jared, you're so sleek. Mikey and Jared, they're making beats.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 8 of Slick Picks, talking about week 7 in the NFL. After a couple of mediocre weeks, I went 3-0. Washington, Chicago under hit. Broncos, Chargers under hit. Rams covered for me. Jared had a nice week as well. He went 2-1. I believe it was the Bengals and the Jets that covered for you.
It was. And I missed that Jags Colts under 1-5 on my locks this year. It's not great, but other than that, I'm doing great. 1-5 with my locks, 9-2-1 everywhere else. So I'm feeling good about the year. I just got to clean it up a little bit, just a couple minor adjustments, and I'll get there.
Yeah, me and Jared are both over 55% right now. Vibes are immaculate. Vegas shaking it as boots, you know?
Vegas called us and they called me. I don't know if they called you, Mikey. They said, "Can you stop recording it? We're losing money." I said, "No, I care too much about the listeners. I care too much about my co-host, Mikey, and you can shove it where the sun don't shine."
Yep. Speaking of Vegas shaking in its boots, I had a Yankees future bet. It was Yankees to win the World Series, and 2 days ago they were offering to buy me out at $111. I told them to kick rocks. Yankees just advanced to the ALCS, and now that ticket's worth $318, and I'm going to ride it until it cashes out and I pay my rent that month with that bet. With that said, we don't have a lot of time to dilly-dally here. Let's get right into talking about something that's really important. Underdog fantasy.
Yes, sir. Love underdog fantasy. Do you want to gas him up first, Mikey, or should I gas him up first?
You gas him up, and then I'll gas him up.
I'll gas him up first.
Okay.
I absolutely love these guys. My girlfriend, she lives in Minneapolis. I go there all the time. Sports gambling is not legal there. However, Underdog is able to scratch my itch for me with pick'ems, daily fantasy, and other options as well. Not only can you do pick'ems on that, where you choose the over under on a fantasy player score or their yards, whether it be fantasy or not. You can also buy insurance, or you don't even need to buy it, do you? You just put it right on there. Free insurance. Very uncommon in America, but here at Underdog, free insurance, cover your parlay in case you miss a leg or two. You still cash that bad boy. Feels great.
Yeah. Something I want to talk about right now is because NHL is, I believe, already started.
Yep.
The NBA is about to start. MLB is, entering into the end of playoffs. Dota 2, the international, the huge Dota 2 tournament, it's usually worth like a couple $1 million to the winner, usually around like 10-15 million to the winner. That just kicked off. We're about to go to the bracket stage of that tournament. You can bet on Dota. You can bet on anything you want on Underdog Fantasy. UFC, fucking, women's basketball, whatever you want to bet on, it's on Underdog. And it's good stuff. It's very hard to bet Dota, but
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
But it's a good time. This is an interesting episode this week. We're doing something a little different. We're going to do a tier list of all the NFL teams and break down how we feel about these teams.
Yeah.
So you have an idea going forward for the next couple of weeks how you should be approaching these teams. But of course, we're still going to give out our picks. So I have 3 picks. Jared has his 3 picks. Maybe we'll talk about them for like a minute. We're going to keep it short, get right to the tier list. With that said, you know what? I'm just going to rattle off all 3 of mine. Let me know if you got a comment here.
I'm going to have comments, but go off.
All right. Bengals -6.5 is my 1 point play.
Versus who?
The Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, so Falcons, been a scrappy team. Kudos to the Falcons all year. I think they were very disrespected this offseason. Arthur Smith has been playing very well. But if there's one thing the Atlanta doesn't do well, it's defend the pass. They give up the second most passing yards in the league. And Joe Burrow just threw all over the Saints, which have a very respectable defense. I think Joe Burrow is going to find a way to keep it rolling down in the South. He just left New Orleans. He only has to go to Atlanta this week. He's going to keep it going. 303 touchdowns last week. I don't see him not having a similar performance. And this offensive line every week is going to improve and improve. So really getting into the meat and potatoes of this season, I expect Burrow to find a way.
I have the Falcons on my card. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah,
I feel great about them.
Ooh. All right, let's bet this IRL.
IRL?
Yeah.
Another 50 burger, or maybe I win. You have to send me all your clothes.
Can we do like Like, can we do anything else? Is there nothing else on the
Just
table?
just the pants.
All
Just
right,
the
yeah, I'll
pants.
send you all my pants. I actually don't have that many pants.
Okay.
I don't have them.
Cool deal. And I will send you a 30 pack or something. We'll figure it out. We'll
Okay.
figure it out. I love the Falcons plus 6.5, undefeated against the spread. I don't know if you knew that. And
Yep.
I'm going to keep going to the well until the well runs dry. And right now it is not dry. I think the Falcons have a sneaky, pretty good team. I think Arthur Smith is a very good coach. It's not like they're, and I'm blown away, honestly, because going into the year, I thought the Falcons were going to be bottom tier, dumpster fire team. Drake London looks good. They have that wide receiver, Zuckus, I think. I don't know.
Zacharias or whatever. I know the
Yes.
guy you're talking about. Yeah,
He
he's solid.
flashes. Yeah, he flashes on my screen a lot in red zone, and they want to run the ball, and they have multiple running backs that can do that. They have a quarterback that can do that, and I think the defense is fine, man. They almost beat the Bucks. They almost, and they would be 4-2 if they did.
I want to
know?
read you out the margin of like the game for each game that they played. So they lost to the Saints by 1, lost to the Rams by 4, beat the Seahawks by 4, beat the Browns by 3, lost to the Buccaneers by, if I'm doing quick math here, that's 6. But if you remember, there was some shenanigans with the ref in that game and just doubled the point total for the 49ers last week. This Falcons team's good. I understand why you would want to bet on them. I can't, but I don't know. I feel like Burrow's hitting his stride here. So we'll see. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the tier soon, but I'm very curious to hear what you think about this Bengals team.
Yeah. I had a tough time with them. I was making it by myself earlier today just to get a feel for how I feel about these teams, and it was tough to rank them. What play is that? That's my 1 point play.
It's my 2 point. It's my 2 point play.
So my 2 point play is very simple here. It's the New York Giants +2 versus the Jaguars. Giants are good. I'm turning very quickly on the Jaguars. I bet them to win the division, and I might as well have thrown that money out my window. Trevor Lawrence is bad.
Yeah, let's chalk it up. He's a bust, and feels good to say it. He's never looked good. I want to talk about this game a little bit because this is, again, on my card. It's my 1 point play.
Okay.
It would have been my 3 point play because to me, this line makes no sense, which is why it's my 1 point play because it
yummy cheese.
Yes, so much cheese. But why? I don't get why it's cheese. The Jags are home.
Yep.
I don't really care about that too much. I feel like the NFL doesn't matter as much, especially with a team like the Jags. And the Giants are 5-1 and look great. Like Dabble is front runner for coach of the year.
Yep.
And the Jags could not look worse right now. Is that what it is? The Giants couldn't look better and the Jags couldn't look worse?
I think so. Like a little bit of like regression to the mean. Oh my God. Regression to the mean where the Giants are flying a little too high and the Jaguars are playing probably below what they actually are. I think Vegas is expecting a little bit of that return. And also, I mean, I don't care about this, but it's a home game for the Jaguars. In my opinion, I can't imagine a home field advantage that means less. I don't know a fan base that like is like less passionate about their team. I mean, there might be more Jaguars fans in Britain than they are in the United States.
That's a good take. That's a really good take because there's definitely a lot of them over there. They're there all the time because they suck and no one wants them over here.
Yep.
It's just this game freaks me out, man. I was going through the board. I texted you about it. I was going through the board and it stuck out like a sore thumb. I said, that makes absolutely zero sense.
Mm-hmm.
But Vegas always knows.
Yeah.
Vegas always knows.
One thing is that Barkley is banged up. I want to see if he practiced today. Mind me, we are figuring this out.
Fantasy told me he was healthy when I was looking at it, and I looked like that when I saw the line. That's the first thing I did. Is Saquon like doubtful or something? But my ESPN app told me he's good to go.
Okay, well then I assume he's fine then. I knew he was a little banged up at the end of that last game, and I wondered if that was maybe affecting this line, but. All right, let's keep it moving here. We're both in lockstep there. A little cheesy, but I enjoy cheese. I like a good brie. My lock is Broncos and Jets under 39.5. Like you said, you're riding the Falcons. I'm riding the Broncos under. Red zone, they just can't get anything done for the Broncos. That's a lot of field goals. Field goals equals unders. The Jets threw the ball 6 times at the second half of last week. This is a team, if they get the lead, they're perfectly fine giving it to their 2 young running backs. Running backs running the ball, they might be good, but they're chewing up clock. Salah's defense is really coming into form. Quinnen Williams is a special player.
Yep.
Gonna leave it at that. Not much more to say.
Yeah, it's don't think, just shoot kind of with the Broncos unders right now.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have put it on my card, but I don't know if you were watching the whole game. Again, I was texting you about it. Absolutely sweating the under last week. I just need a break from that. It was the Broncos put up a quick 13 and the Chargers matched it very quickly going into the second half. And I was sweating balls, but pulled through for me. And I'm never gonna hate a Broncos under. That team sucks.
Yep.
Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson should be both put in jail.
Yeah, and Russell apparently has some sort of it's no longer the shoulder. Now it's a new issue.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure every week there's going to be a new thing until he is just out for the rest of the season. And that is going to look like one of the worst contracts ever in NFL history.
It's crazy, man.
You know what? I'm actually worried about this line moving. I'm betting this. I haven't bet it yet because usually I wait until the end of the show and let me hear like, oh, does Jared give me a piece of news that I maybe want to? I'm betting this right now.
Oh, do it. Yeah. It's
yeah.
Not a bad bet. I like the Jets plus 1.5 in that game. I just think the Broncos are just you gotta imagine the locker room's pissed, right? Did you see the Melvin Gordon interview after the game?
Yeah, that was bad. I saw Jerry Jeudy on the sideline. Like it was like one of those clips where you can see he's just bitching about Russ, and like that's not a good vibe.
No. Week 7. Like it's bad in there. So great pick.
Yep.
My lock, I got the Titans minus 2.5 versus the Colts.
Okay.
Titans, we've talked about it a couple times, this division. I've been telling everyone, It's never been anyone else's division other than the Titans. They'll always find a way. They're not that great this year. I think they have maybe the worst wide receiver room in the NFL. Derrick Henry looks like he's not what he used to be. I think he's still very good, but he's not. He's taking a step back.
Mm-hmm.
And the Colts are poo-poo caca. They're poo-poo caca. I don't respect them. I never will.
Yep.
They have squeaked out a few wins here and there. They don't earn any points for me beating the Colts or the Jaguars, excuse me.
Yep.
And the cherry on top here, Titans coming off a bye. Mike Vrabel in his career is 4-0 against the spread coming off of a bye.
Ooh, I forgot about that. I love him off a bye. That's something I was betting last year as well.
Yep. Take that. That's
tough.
Every time.
Yeah. I don't think you're missing your lock this week, Jared. I think you're hitting your fucking lock this week.
I texted my Titan friend. I said, are the Titans winning this week? He said they probably will. Mike Vrabel always smashes after a bye.
Yep. And it's a short line. You said it's 2.5, right?
2.5. Win by field goal against the Colts.
Think about it. The Colts had to score like 34 points just to beat the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars stink.
They do.
And
the Colts stink.
Yeah, Colts.
The Titans are fine. Titans are fine. They're like it's at the end of the day, even if it's a bad team, Mike Vrabel's a very good coach, and he's going to get his guys up for a divisional game.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. All right, time to get into our tier list.
Let's do it. So how exactly do you want to do? Oh, you got your share on your screen for me.
Yeah. Is that?
Oh, we're making it as we go. Let's go. Okay.
Oh yeah, I thought we would do this live. So
I love it.
My thing is the teams are sort of sorted alphabetically by the city name. So let's just start with Arizona.
Do you want to go off read the tiers real quick for the podcast?
Yeah.
Viewers?
So we'll try to make this as easy to follow along for the podcast listeners. I will say, going to throw it out there. If you're not listening on Spotify, I would suggest you listen on Spotify because when we put out the videos on Spotify, there's a video feed as well. So you'll be able to see the tier list. And, at the end of the episode, you can just check it really quick if you want as well. We'll probably tweet it out as well. We'll see. But anyway, the tiers are Super Bowl bound. This is a good team. Oh, no, I fucked it up.
I kind of like that. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. It's Super Bowl bound. This is a great team. This is a good team. Any given Sunday, bad, and dream of 101. And in case you don't know what 101 means, that essentially means the first pick in the first round of the NFL draft.
They're trying to get that guy.
Yeah, they're tanking pretty much. So with that said, where do you slot the Arizona Cardinals?
I think the Cardinals right now, I want to put them in bad. I hate their coach. I hate their quarterback, but I got to respect the talent on the team. I'm going to put them in any given Sunday. I think that they're going to hang around most games. I don't think I think they can beat anyone. I think they can lose to anyone.
I'm looking up the Cardinals right now in their season. Let's just peek at their season right now.
They just hung with the Eagles, and then they lost by 10 to the Seahawks, beat the Panthers by 10.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like this team, but in hindsight, I think you're right. I think we got to give this team any given Sunday.
Or if you close your eyes, I mean, like just like thinking ahead, like, would you be shocked to see like the Cardinals at some point this season beat like, I don't know, the Cowboys or something like that?
Yeah, you're right.
beat a
Like they
team
could
that
beat
they're-
half the teams in the league. They could also lose to half the teams, and that's what any given Sunday means. Any
Oh,
given
yeah.
Sunday they can win, and any given Sunday they could lose.
Couldn't
So-
say it better myself.
No, you're probably right there. So let's continue on here. We have the Atlanta Falcons. This is a team that we were just singing the praises of, ATS, but this isn't an ATS ranking. This is how good is this team? It's tough. What is Atlanta's record right now?
They're 3-3. They're 3-3.
3-3.
They've
That
hung
is
with
giving
every
any
team.
Sunday vibes.
I think that's fine. I think that's totally fine. I like them more, but I'm a little biased towards Mariota. But I think do you think this team's going to make the playoffs at the end of the year?
No.
I will tell you something I really like. Keep it to gambling a little bit here. The Falcons right now have the second best odds to win their division, the NFC South, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it is plus 700. The Bucks look bad.
Yeah.
And I think those are great odds for a frisky team in a bad division with the Saints and the Panthers.
It's also like a good point about this is that if you bet this on FanDuel, that's the app I tend to use. I'm not sure about like DraftKings.
Well,
other
and
platforms.
Underdog.
And Underdog. That's a good point. That's a good point. When you bet a future, sometimes the app will try to buy back the ticket. And if you like this team and they're competitive down the stretch and you're not sure they're going to cash, but like it looks like they're decent, you can earn a profit on them by just holding on to this ticket and selling it back. So something to just, keep that
If
in
it's
mind.
starting to get close down the line, they'll buy you out.
Yeah. That's what they're trying to do right now with the Yankees. I'm going
Fuck
to
them.
hold.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday. All right. Sounds like they're there. We might at the end maybe do another glance through all these teams and see where they belong.
Yep.
All right. So now we're at Baltimore, the third bird in a row, Arizona, Atlanta, and Baltimore.
Yep.
Baltimore, to me, they have given up so many fourth quarter leagues. I can't put them in good tier.
I disagree. I think
think they're good?
I think who would you like? How many teams are better than the Ravens? I think there's a lot of teams in their tier, and the tier being between bad and good team. So this is a good team, any given Sunday bad. And I think Lamar Jackson is a pretty damn good quarterback. They've been trailing for a collective 2 minutes this year. Where do you point to this Ravens team and be like, that's the issue?
I was hearing some people talk about it today, and like the idea was that like as you play Lamar like later and later into the game, it's a little bit easier to get like accustomed to their style of offense.
Mm-hmm.
And then the defense is just I don't know what else to say about it. They give up so many fourth quarter leads. It's crazy. They'll be up 20 points and they'll blow that lead like consistently. So what are you thinking here? Are you think they're a good team?
I think they're a good team, but we can, as we go along, we can move it around.
I want to drop them in good, and we'll see.
If you move it without me looking, then it is what it is. You can't see me right now. I saw that. You can't. Yeah, I can. You can't see when I'm looking right now, so maybe you'll get it by me. But
I'm very kind of skeptical of this team right now. I'm not sure if there is a good team in the AFC North. Maybe Bengals. Bengals are a good team. Speaking of good team, Bills. Do you want to talk about this for very long?
I mean, if they're so good, there's not a ton to say about them.
Yeah.
Super Bowl bound. I wish. I was gonna say I wish they ran the ball a little better, but Devin Singletary's getting like 4.5, 5 yards a pop last game.
Yep.
There's trade rumors about McCaffrey. I hear Cam Akers is on the block. I don't want him, but
yeah, I wouldn't want Akers. I really wouldn't.
Yep.
And I don't even know if McCaffrey is worth it for you guys. Like at a certain point, like how many weapons is like too many weapons? You guys, it's not a weapons issue for you guys. If anything, I would love to see you guys like sign some more like defensive depth. Like cornerbacks always go down. If you guys lose a cornerback or two, and that's the reason you have a tough matchup against KC in the playoffs. That's going to stink. I would be more inclined to shop for some corners. or
I agree.
safeties.
I hear you, but I don't think Christian McCaffrey would hurt the team.
Apparently, they're asking for multiple first round picks.
They're not getting that from the Bills. They might have gotten like a first.
Yeah,
I don't need them. Like the Bills have the worst. I don't know the name of the stat, but it measures how far your running back gets down the field on average before they have contact.
Yeah,
And the Bills are dead last in the league, which tells me that they have the worst rush blocking line in the NFL, which isn't great for a Super Bowl team, but it doesn't matter when you have the first ranked defense and second ranked offense right now.
Yeah. Again, not that much to talk about this team because I think everyone knows they're really fucking good. It's just, God, I'm excited to watch them come February. Dream of 101. I didn't even talk to you about this because I'm assuming you're going to agree. Carolina, I just plopped them into that category, the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, they're poo-poo caca.
Now, here's a question. Here's a fun little thing. Are they the worst team in the NFL? Because if you ask me, I would say they are the worst team.
I think I agree. I feel like that's the easy choice, but the easy choice is sometimes the correct choice.
Yep.
I would have said the Steelers are close too, but man,
well coached, man. You say what you want about the Steelers. I don't think they're a great team. They have a good coach. They just beat the Buccaneers. I mean,
Buccaneers might be bad.
Buccaneers might be bad. You're not wrong. I don't know. The Buccaneers are definitely not bad. We'll have to break down how we feel about them.
We'll get to them.
But they're maybe I don't know if they're Super Bowl bound either.
I think Bears. This is another one.
I'd
put them bottom tier too. They fucking stink. Justin Fields. God, I loved him going into the year. I loved him coming out of college.
Yep.
He's been the guy since high school. He was on a TV show or on a Netflix show, like following
Last Chance You or whatever. What the hell?
No, that's not that one. I forget what it's called. Birdman Steve watches it, so we can ask him. But
yeah,
man, he was like born for stardom, and he just does not look like it's clicking. Granted, a lot of it is system and who you're surrounded with, and he has the worst supporting cast. But they stink.
And it's pretty wild. I saw some tweets go up after they lost against the Commanders, and it was something like Justin Fields left it all out on the turf or whatever, and he scored 7 points.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong. You can have a great effort in a losing game, but I don't know. Bears stink. Let's not waste any more time on them. Speaking
Chicago's
of good,
on to the Bulls.
So let's talk about a good team here. I think the Bengals are a good team. That's it.
I mean,
that's my take on it.
I think that they have their flaws.
Yep.
As do the Ravens.
Yep.
I think if we're going to put the Ravens there, I guess it's fair enough to put the Bengals there as a good team. But I think the next few weeks are going to be very telling because they have not looked like the team that came down the stretch last year, and they need to figure it out fairly soon.
To be fair, they didn't look great during the season. The reason they went to the playoffs is that they swept Baltimore last year, and that made them win the division, and they went on a magic run.
They did have a magic run.
They
did. So I guess,
you don't think they're any given Sunday tier, right? Because any given Sunday means to me that they really shouldn't have won that game, but they won. You know what I'm saying? Like, this team should win.
I agree. Okay. Yeah, you got me. Yeah, Jamar, they have too many weapons to put them any given Sunday.
Cleveland, a pretty weird team to rank because we're 4 weeks away from having Deshaun Watson back.
Yeah. Well, we're doing right now.
Right now. Do you know Cleveland's record off the top of your head?
I think they're 3-3. I think they're bad too, though. I think they have a bad quarterback. I think they have a bad coach who refuses to use Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt the way he should.
Yep.
And their defense is kind of poo-poo.
Yeah. God, the name of their coach is failing me.
Kevin Stefanski.
Yes, he was the old OC from the Vikings. I've liked him when he was first with Cleveland. I loved betting on them because I thought they were a really great team. Right now, the Browns are bad. They're not bad, right? You would agree?
No. Yeah, they're bad. They're not bad.
They're just bad.
There's a lot of mediocre teams in the NFL this year. They're actually 2-4. I was wrong. Wow, they're 2-4.
But they've been in games. And I think that's what a bad team does, is that they're in games. You know,
And
they
then
just got blown out about the Patriots, by the Patriots, but they've been in games.
Yeah, any given Sunday team might find a way to win those games. The Browns and the bad teams find a way to lose those games. You have
well put.
Jacoby Brissett. I think he's had 3 game-ending interceptions this year.
That's not good. That's not good.
No, it's not.
All right, let's move on to Dallas Cowboys here. Right now, with Dak returning this week, I'm almost inclined to put them in good tier, but I feel like
Oh, come on. You got to put them in the good tier. They're 4-2.
They're good.
That defense is stifling.
That defense is great. Cooper Rush held shit down. Dak is coming back. They got weapons galore. I actually think if you want to look at some underdog props, I forgot to mention these earlier. I think the running backs, just anything the running backs have against the Lions this week, because they're going to run all over the Lions.
Yeah.
They're a good team. Their defense is great, and their offense will likely only look better with Dak returning.
Micah Parsons is even to win Defensive Player of the Year right now. He's plus 100.
Yeah, after week 1, I told people to bet on that. And I'm not going to say like crazy hot take from me or anything like that. Like, obviously he's an absolute stud, but Defensive Player of the Year is kind of weird. You know, that's kind of a award where, like, you know, a guy like Von Miller, I think, has only won it like once, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to do it. It's very subjective, I feel like, but you know, so is MVP.
Yeah. So, no, this is like up there, top 3 defense and offense. That's going to look better. This is a good team. I wouldn't want to play them ever. All right, Broncos. This is one that's going to be interesting.
I think they're bad.
I think they're bad.
I'm disgusted with this team. Maybe it's because I've seen them 4 weeks play on primetime and just lay fucking eggs, and their coach looks like an idiot, and their goober quarterback is hated by the whole fucking team already. It feels like it's imploding, and they need to get the fuck off get off my screen forever. I don't ever want to see the Broncos play ever again. I'm so sick of this team. Their starting running back is down. And what they did to replace him last week is they started Latavius Murray for 60% of the snaps and gave Melvin Gordon 3 carries.
Everything you just said was absolutely correct. I'm looking at this team's like games this year. They lost by 1 in overtime. They lost by 3 in overtime. They lost by like 8 here against the Raiders, or 9, I should say. No, 1 by 1, 1 by 7, 1 by 1. I think I know Denver's not fun to watch. Are they not in any given Sunday? That defense is incredible.
Their defense is good, but they've put up 20 points one time. If you want to put them any given Sunday, be my guest. But this team, if it was a person, I'd spit on them. That's how I feel about them.
Yeah,
They're
it's hard to argue against
scumbags.
Yeah, it's tough.
If it was up to me, put them in the basement.
In the basement,
And put them in the basement.
Should we make a new category?
Dungeon. Just call it "Fuck you, Broncos." Fuck them. I'm so sick of it.
Yep. All right.
I hate the NFL for putting them on our TV so many times. God, Russell Wilson. I'm waiting for someone on the Broncos team to just like publicly be like, I hate that guy.
Yep.
And the Seahawks look pretty good without him.
Yeah. All right. I'm moving them to their own category that is in between bad and any given Sunday. That's called
perfect.
Fuck You Broncos.
That's perfect.
All right. Detroit Lions. We got to move along here. They're a dream of 101.
I give them bad. I think you're just down. I think you're just down.
Seems bad.
You have so many good offensive players. You got to pick your chin up, my guy. Pick it up.
Fine. They are just above dreaming of 101 because.
Do you want the first overall pick right now? Is that what you're thinking?
This team stinks. Our defense is horrific.
Yes.
Don't forget, I know it's been a while since you've seen this defense. Before they went into the bye week, they were the worst defense in the entire NFL.
Yes.
Their offense, which people were loving to parade, put up 0 points against the Patriots. It seems
It's a
awful.
bad taste in your mouth going into the bye. It's a really bad taste.
Yeah.
You look sick right now.
Yeah, and Dan Campbell, I like him as a leader, and I feel like I'm a part of the problem right now. His game management is concerning.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, and I was thinking, like, a lot of people were kind of like, I was reading online talking about, like, oh, like, Lions off a bye, like, is this a good spot for them? If you give a bad coach more time, how much does that help a team?
Yeah. Yeah. Opposite of Vrabel.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna leave them in bad for now, though I think at the end of this we might want to revisit that.
Yeah.
All right. Green Bay, I think, are a good team. I don't think you agree though.
I mean, I don't think they're ready for any given Sunday. I'd tie them with the Bucks. They're the same team as the Bucks for me.
I actually agree with that 100. Do we just put the Bucks?
Yeah,
there
just
right
throw
now?
them up there. Yeah.
All right.
I think they are both like, the defense should be good.
Yep.
And for the Packers, they're underperforming right now. It's fine.
Yep.
And then they have good run games.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, Packers kind of underperforming in the run game right now, but Leonard Fournette looks good. And then their quarterbacks, their old guys, have not impressed me yet. Tom Brady's stats look good, but I feel like the stats don't tell. They've put up, what was the stat I heard? I think 6 touchdowns in 5 games. Yeah. If you take away the Chiefs Sunday night game, which is bad.
And also this weekly routine of Tom Brady chewing out his team on the sidelines. At what point is a team like, "Aight, man, we're kind of over this circus show. We get it that your wife left you and that's tough, but we don't yell at me."
I'm a grown man as well.
Please stop. I don't know. I definitely think the Broncos and the Packers. I'm sorry, not the Broncos. The Buccaneers and the Packers both have a lot to prove right now. And I think neither team belongs in the great category, but they're definitely good. All right, let's look at the Houston Texans here. Dream of 101.
Yeah, I think so. I think they are another category, worst team in the NFL. They have Damian Pierce, Jerry Hughes playing well. Shout out Jerry Hughes.
Yep.
And they have Brandon Cooks, who's over the hill, possibly.
Yeah. So. And I think the corner that they drafted, the name is escaping me right now. I think he was from Cincinnati. He's been playing pretty well from what I heard, but I don't know. The Texans are not that good. Colts, Indianapolis Colts, bad.
I think bad's where I put them as well.
Yeah, they feel about as good as the Browns, right? What did you say that this is a good way to look at this? Is would this be a pick 'em? And I would say this is about a pick 'em.
That is a pick 'em to me. Neutral site, pick 'em. Both just kind of sad teams that you feel bad about going forward.
All right, now we have Jacksonville Jaguars here. And this one I don't think is that easy because I feel like they belong in either bad or bad. Maybe they're any given Sunday. What is their record? Could you do me?
They're 2-4.
2-4 smells like bad to me.
I think I personally, bad. I've given up on them. I can just smell it. I can smell their stink.
Yeah.
They're the opposite of the Lions, who are also in our bad category, where I think the Lions have hope. I think the Jaguars are free falling into mediocrity once again.
Yeah.
But who knows? This might look stupid in 5 weeks if they win a couple.
Yeah, I say week 14, we revisit this. I think that'd be a good time to try to revisit this. So, yeah, we're going to leave them in bad right now because I think Trevor Lawrence is bad. And they have a good defense. It's tough. I'm leaning towards bad, but we're going to leave them in bad. Next up is the Kansas City Chiefs. And much like the Bills, there's not a lot to discuss here. I think the only thing to say is that the defense definitely isn't as good as the Bills, but their offense, it's Patrick Mahomes. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame before he even retires.
Yep. Travis Kelce, amazing still. It's the Chiefs and Bills are just head and shoulders above every other team in the AFC. Who do you think's the third best AFC team?
Third best AFC team. I want to pull up just a little AFC.
Yeah, I'll filibuster while you do that. I think it's the Ravens, and I just think it's kind of dogfight for that next spot. And you got to pick someone. You can make a case for the Chargers. You can make a case for maybe the Titans, or even I don't know, who, the Jets, maybe the
who I would
Bengals.
say? Know who I would say? Honest to God, I would say at the end of the season. Like right now, they're not, but I think they will in a couple weeks. I think it's Miami. I think Miami's the third best team in the AFC. If their
Miami
quarterback's
Dill's going to
healthy.
love that.
If they're healthy. I think right now they're clearly not, and they're losing some games, and that stinks for them. It stinks for my over 8.5 bet.
Yeah, it does.
I think if
so
Miami,
good.
I think if Miami gets healthy, man, as long as they're healthy and they make the playoffs, I'd be terrified to play them.
I think that's a pretty fair take. I don't hate that. They beat the Bills, so what can I say?
Yep. Okay, so let's get back to that. So now we have the LA Chargers here. And I was about to get into how I just don't like a lot of these AFC teams, but they are teetering between good and any given Sunday. I mean, at what point does Herbert get criticized?
I've been on that train, my guy.
You
I'm
have been.
Sick of it.
I haven't. No one else on earth, I feel like, is really willing to be that guy. I'm starting to be there where I think Justin Herbert is a good player, but I don't think he's above criticism. And I think
no, he's not. But people don't do it. It's because he has a crazy cannon arm.
Yep.
And people think that's all there is to quarterback. It's not. You need to read coverages. You need to be mobile in the pocket. You need to make good decisions. Justin Herbert is not as good at those things as other top-tier quarterbacks are. He just isn't. If he was, they would win more games, but they don't. They're going to go, I think they're going to go 8-9. I think they go 8-9, 9-8, like they do every single fucking year. And I'm just not, I've never been impressed by this team, and I've never been impressed by what Justin Herbert puts on the field.
He has weapons around him, right?
Yeah, dude. He has everything he could want. He has a great left tackle. I think that guy might be out for the year though. But he has Austin Eckler. It's inexcusable. It's been going on for so long. It's just mediocrity, and they just keep sucking them off.
I think this year, if they don't find a way, because right now, let me take a look. They are
they're 4-2.
They're 4-2. This is a 10-win season, or people have to just say, "Hey, Herbert's a great quarterback," but they need to start. Some narrative needs to start going there for him.
It's going to be Staley. They're going to be get rid of Staley.
Yeah,
Herbert's not going anywhere.
No. And again, I'm not asking for Herbert to lose his job or anything like that, but something. Because there used to be a narrative about Lamar not being able to win in the playoffs. People would always acknowledge how good he was, but he can't win in the playoffs. Some second narrative needs to start developing with Herbert, how this team just never seems to put it all together.
Yeah. He just never gets them, dude. He never gets them. Josh Allen and Lamar have been raked over the coals before. Joe Burrows caught some heat. Kyler Murray catches heat.
Yep.
And Herbert has none. And it's, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, they're getting heat right now too. Nothing from Herbert ever.
Yeah. No, you're expected to elevate your team. LA Rams are our next team here. I feel like this team does not deserve good.
No, they do not.
But they're not bad, right? They're not bad.
Do you think they're any given Sunday? Because I feel like the any given Sunday teams are supposed to be frisky. I feel like the Rams sort of choke out their wins.
I see what you're saying. They don't fit the category of an any given Sunday team, but they are 3-3. I think as mediocre as the seasons look, they won by 14 against Carolina last week. I mean, that's clearly a sign that they're an above average team.
It was close for a minute, man.
It was.
They almost did. I think they get a pick in the end zone at the end.
I can't quite remember, but it was definitely two late scores. There was one right at the end of the third quarter, and then another score in the fourth quarter. And there might have been a pick in the end zone to keep Carolina from scoring. But
so what do you like about this team when you look at it? You like Cooper Kupp, you like Aaron Donald, you like Jalen Ramsey.
Yep,
that's about it for me.
Yeah,
I think the rest of their team's bad. No offense to Matt Stafford.
No, Matt Stafford's not playing good right now. So but does this look right? You see LA Rams. Look at these other teams in
I
this
know.
this tier. That's what it is. I agree that the Rams have looked bad, but let's say they were playing the Chargers. You would agree that line would be pretty close, right?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think the line, I think they would be favored against. I mean, they were favored pretty significantly against the Falcons, and they were favored by 3 against the Cardinals. So these teams all feel like they belong together. They're any
That's
given
fine.
Sunday tier.
That's fine. Fine. Okay.
Raiders are bad to me.
Raiders,
What is their record right now?
they're 1-4,
That smells bad to me.
I guess. I just like Derek Carr so much, man.
Yeah, it's almost disappointing. I wish they were better. I'll go there with you. Wish they were better.
We gotta put someone in these categories down here.
Yeah, I agree.
There's so much like parity in the league right now. All these teams to me are just a big bundle. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And I think at the end we can do some realignment. We'll take a moment and sort of see if anything looks awry. Miami to me is a good team.
Yep.
They have beaten the Bills. They've played with everyone that they played against.
With Tua, they're a good team.
Yeah, with Tua, they're a good team. And you know what? Like with Skylar Thompson and Teddy, they have obviously not been doing as much winning, but they haven't embarrassed themselves either. I think if you were to give this team any given Sunday, that's sort of ignoring their true potential here. So I'm leaving them in good.
That's fine. I mean, they've looked bad
Mhm.
without Tua, but
Yep.
most teams would look bad without their starting quarterback, despite what Tua is. So I guess that's fine. Vikings.
To me, I don't know if you agree with this. My first gut instinct is any
I
given Sunday.
do not agree with that.
You think they're good?
all. Yeah, man. They're 5-1, aren't they?
Yeah, you're so right. I don't know why
You almost
I
just put them with the
refuse to
fucking Rams, dude. It's because you're a Lions fan. That's crazy that you almost. I hope Steve reaches out to you for that.
I have a hard time respecting this.
What don't you respect?
They're a good team. You're right. I don't know, man. You're right. Let me look at their like. I'm gonna look at something really quick.
I would say they're closer to great team, but
Yep.
they just barely beat every team they play.
That's the thing. Like their victory margin, like totaled up this season, is only 21 points over
Right.
the course of like 6 games. That means they're not blowing anyone out. That's like what a good team does. A good team wins football games. They're
Yes.
5-1. If that's not any given Sunday territory. You're right. You're
You
right.
are what your record says you are, and they're 5-1.
Yep.
And you gotta respect that until they show you otherwise.
Yep.
That division, I mean, they could definitely win their division.
I agree. No, and it looks like they will, honestly. So next up we have the Patriots, and I'm just curious. I want to pull up their record here.
Tough team right now.
I mean, this is
They're in
who
three.
would have guessed that the NFC East and the AFC East are
Maybe
two
the
of
best divisions. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this. This is crazy. Every single team is at least 500. I don't know, man. I mean, this is a team that's in a little bit of flux, if you ask me, because Bailey Zappi is playing better than Mac Jones was this season. By
Yeah.
any record. Are they going to go back to Mac Jones?
I think. Is he coming back this week?
He's going to be coming back sooner than later. I don't know if it's this week, but it's sooner than later.
It's tough. Are you deleting some files right now?
No. I had to save the recording that we just finished up. But yeah,
it's. I think maybe I'd put him in any given Sunday when I look at the other.
I
teams
agree.
in
I
any
think this
given
is a
Sunday.
team. I mean, they blew the fuck out of the Lions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure. Let's look at the Patriots season right now, and let's just have a moment here.
It's very confusing what they're going to do with their quarterbacks. I think it's more confusing because the quarterbacks look pretty much like the same person. I
Yep.
think you could put Mac Jones in the Zappi jersey and you wouldn't be able to tell. It might actually be Mac Jones playing, and I would know. I would not know.
So if you look at the beginning of their season, they lose to the Dolphins. They barely beat the Steelers. They get blown out by a Ravens team, which again, everyone like the fact that like they kind of got blown out by the Ravens is almost alarming because the Ravens let everyone play with them. Lose to the Packers, a team that people are like, this is a team any given Sunday. They're not
In
good. They're not
overtime,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. They went to overtime, and that's what overtime equals any given Sunday.
Yeah, well said.
Saints bad.
I think the Saints are bad. I think the Saints defense is underperforming. Alvin
Yes.
Kamara is old,
Yes.
and the quarterback position is, right now it's Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
And when Jameis Winston will be back, is he gonna be good enough to move them up? I would say no.
Yeah, this all season I was very high on the Saints because I really liked what I saw from Jameis last year. But it's clear that Sean Payton was kind of whispering to him and kind of influencing him. He doesn't have that influence right now. He was turning over the ball a ton. Andy Dalton has lost several QB positions for a reason. This team's bad. They don't have. Chris Olave is the best part of this team right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, the most inspiring is Michael Thomas playing. He's been out, right?
Yeah, and I believe he's going to be out for the next couple of weeks, from my understanding.
bad
Even if
contract.
I'm wrong on that, I don't think Michael Thomas upgrades this team to any given Sunday. What is the record right now? Let's just take a peek at this record.
I think they're 2-4.
2-4. Yeah, that's bad to me.
Yep,
Um,
in a bad division. So
yeah. So now we have both New York teams coming up. I have a pretty strong opinion on where these two teams believe. I'm going to say the New York Giants are good.
I agree. Saquon Barkley's really good.
Yep.
Well-coached team.
Yep.
Uh,
Defense is good too.
yeah, respectable team.
Thibodeau has been influencing games. His stats haven't been outrageous, but if you watch the game, Thibodeau's clearly having an impact. This is a well-coached team. This is a good team.
Yeah, Dabble right now, front runner for Coach of the Year.
Yep.
The McDermott coaching tree has begun.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Frazier's gonna get a job, I think, after this year. Frazier was supposed to get one last year till the 13 seconds incident,
Yeah.
and now he has the top defense in the league.
Yeah. Let me know if he wants to come to the Lions. So New York
Okay.
Jets, to me, I
Any given
want to
Sunday.
put them in good, right? Because it's fun to put them in good.
Can't yet.
They are just a slight tier below the Giants, in my opinion, because
Mhm.
I still have some question marks about their head coach. Though I like Robert Saleh. I actually he comes on to the Michael K show every week, and he is like the coolest fucking guy. Like during interviews, which I think is rare for sports personality. He's a really
agree.
humble, really nice guy. I think the Jets are definitely going the right direction. I just think it's hard to put them in good.
It's too soon. They beat up on a Dolphins team who had their third string quarterback in.
Yes.
They beat they beat the Packers, which is a good win. They did.
Yes.
And that's impressive. And that's why I'm respecting them more. But before that, they beat the Steelers, lost the Bengals handedly, barely beat the Browns.
No. Oh, you're right. I misread that. Yeah, barely beat the Browns. Like that's slightly concerning. Get the piss beat out of them by the Ravens. Like this is a team that they started slowly. And you know what though? This was a team that didn't have Zach Wilson to start the season. And I know people aren't high on Zach Wilson. I hope, how about this? I think they're in the right category right now. And I would love to put them in good when we do this in week 14. Do you agree with that?
We'll see. I think they got the Jets, they got the Broncos, Patriots, Bills. I think we're gonna learn a lot those 3 weeks about this Jets team.
I'll tell you what, if they want to be a good team, they definitely can't go 0-3. I don't think 1-2 advances them. They need to go 2-1, and they need to lose to the Bills, and they need to play with the Buffalo Bills.
I agree. I think if they go 2-1, I'll really respect them in this stretch of 3 here. But until they do, I think any given Sunday's right where they belong.
I agree. I was talking about this team a lot during the off season, and it's really gratifying to see how good they are. The Eagles are Super Bowl bound, in my opinion.
Who's touching them in the who? Okay, so this a real question, not hypothetical. Who do you think comes at this team? Trajectory wise. While you think about it, I will give my answer once again. I think they're not playing excellent right now, but I think at the end of the day, we're going to see the 49ers kind of figure it out, put together, make a run at this team. And I mean, I'm looking at the North right now with you. I mean, Cowboys, maybe Vikings is the other answer that comes to mind. I think the Bucks are. I just hate their offense. Tom Brady looks. I think it might be it for Tom Brady.
I think my thought is that maybe it's the Bucks, maybe it's the 49ers, But there's a lot of these like maybes. It doesn't feel like they're like that's the team they got to beat. Like the Bills clearly have the Chiefs. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? There isn't a clear-cut second NFC team to me.
I agree. It's not. It's. I think people would tell you it's the Vikings right now, but the Vikings have been squeaking out these wins against inferior opponents, and that's not what the Super Bowl bound team will do. The Eagles are beating the piss out of teams.
Yeah. And especially, and what's interesting is that you see this 56 points, their net victories, and you're like, oh, like that's good, but that's not amazing. What you have to remember is go do yourself a favor, pull up the Eagles and look at the box scores at halftime. Because what they do is they kick the shit out of the teams in the first half, and then they just run the ball and they win their games, and they always win it by a solid enough margin where it's never really all that scary. If you want to do something like if you want to just bet Eagles first half to cover, you'll win a lot rest of the season. And
yeah, it's great. I will the Eagles plus 56 is second best. The Bills, you know what the Bills have as the top?
Bills have I want to say 73.
I believe it's 91. I think
right,
it's
let me pull it
plus
up.
91.
95.
95, even better. The Bill, and that's just how good the Bills are. Right
No,
now.
what's interesting is that the Eagles have the second best margin of victory points here.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm
Yep.
just quickly looking at this through a glance, but I believe I'm correct. Yeah,
You are. I just said, yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
I'm really curious what would happen if the Eagles got knocked off their game and were trailing at half, because I don't think they have been, because they get ahead and they run their game.
Yeah. It'll be, I almost hope that happens sooner than later for their sake. I think this team kind of needs, like, I think this team could almost walk into the playoffs a little too confident. I think it'd be good for them to lose a handful of games and work out some issues.
For sure.
But yeah, Super Bowl bound. This is a great team. Steelers, bad.
Yeah, let's throw him bad. I like Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett looks like he's pretty good, and they got decent receivers. Deontay Johnson has literal Hulk hands on his fucking mitts. He's running around with oven mitts on.
Yeah.
And he just can't catch football to save his life, and I hate that guy. He's on all my fantasy teams. Fuck you, Deontay Johnson, if you're listening.
Yep.
But yeah, this team's rebuilding.
Yeah, no. Pickens did not come out and be the superstar that everyone thought he was going to be. He's had like one or two good games, but he's not like changing this offense. Najee Harris is just a guy, I think, with a lot of touches. He's just a guy with a lot of touches. This defense is not nearly as good without TJ Watt. Well coached. I don't think this is a team you can, look past any given week necessarily just because of the coaching, but they're bad to me.
Yeah, I agree.
ATS wise, they're a little scary. I think in just like tier base, they're bad.
I agree. Well said.
Seattle, I believe.
This to me is the epitome of an any given Sunday team.
Let's look at their record really quickly because this is how
I think they're 2-4, 3-3. Everyone's 3-3 right now. There's, like I said, like I've been saying, so much parity in the league right now. Geno Smith looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I don't see this team. I love betting on this team. I have them on my card. I can read my card at the end of the show. I could look at them playing any team. I could see them playing the Chiefs and just hanging with them, man. I think they're going to hang around always. Not talented, well coached, good scheme.
Kenneth Walker, but here's the thing though. Like you said, not talented. Let's pause for a quick moment here. Kenneth Walker looks pretty special. Their wide receiver duo is probably up there with like the best in the entire league.
Yep.
Geno Smith routinely, like he's a PFF darling right now. I know you're not crazy on PFF, but I don't think if you watch Geno Smith, it's not like he's just stinking and dunking. He'll throw a ball at least twice a game where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What
it's
was
crazy.
That like it's like it's almost like what the it's scary because you're like, who is that?
Yeah, I agree. Is that Russell Wilson? That's what they're saying.
Yeah, no, it's bizarre to me. You're right. They're an any given Sunday team. 3-3 right now. I think there's a chance that next time we do this, they're in the bad category because they almost feel like too good right now.
It's like very Cinderella.
Yes, and it feels like it's about to turn midnight. They're going to turn back into a little gremlin. So yeah, any given Sunday, they've been really fun to watch.
I agree. I'm waiting for that Sunday where Geno Smith just goes like 3 for 18, 50 yards, 4 picks. And it's like, there he is.
Yep. San Francisco.
It's a good team.
It's a good team. We're definitely going to need to evaluate this good team tier.
I just think there's that many.
Here's the thing, though. You would agree they're not great, right?
There's no great teams.
Because, yeah. And, if you're not catching on to this yet, me and Jared both agreed upon this. There is no great teams. There's the 3 Super Bowl teams and everyone else. So that's intentional, by the way. San Francisco, I mean, their offense is very unimpressive, which is very strange because, God, what is the coach's name? How am I blanking? Shanahan. Shannon's supposed to be this genius, and I love him. This team's offense just looks very mediocre most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense looks great, but their defense is also very beaten up. This team, I think, by the next time we do this, there's a pretty good chance that they're in any given Sunday territory.
That's crazy because what I just said is I think they're the second best team in the NFC, which just goes to tell you, I guess, how weak this NFC is.
And I think what you're saying is also valid. Like, I don't think what you said is crazy either. This team feels like it's teetering, and it feels like if Jimmy G just like plays his role and this offense figures this out, like they'll be fine.
Jeff Wilson runs the rock. Debo Samuel makes guys miss.
Yep.
That's what they want to do. But their defense needs to get healthy quick. Yeah, I agree. But I guess we'll see down the road.
Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you think this is a good team.
I do. They own the AFC South, man. Say what you want about them. It's the worst division in the league. They own the AFC South. 3-2 right now, coming off the bye, playing 3-2-1 Colts.
Yeah.
I think they're going to handle the Colts. And
I was going to look up their next couple games, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to just say we know that they're playing the Colts this week. They're likely to go 4-2, and a 4-2 team is a good team because if you look at a lot of these other teams, they're 4-2 or 5-1.
They got the Colts, Texans, Chiefs, Broncos, Packers, Bengals. So they got kind of a tough schedule. But
none of those seem outrageously like. Here's the thing: Titans have played with the Chiefs historically.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's like a guaranteed loss necessarily. And the Chiefs have always sort of flirted in the regular season with being, letting teams play with them. So they're good. The Titans are good. I do think we need to comb this up. But let's put the last team on here, and it's the Washington Commanders. And to me, they flirt between these two categories: bad, and dream of 101.
I think we can go bad. I think they have enough smaller pieces and make enough noise where they have
a really good defensive front. Taylor Heineke is about to start playing for them, and he should make that offense look a lot better, which is crazy to say. They have like 3 really good receivers in Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin. 2 solid running backs, even though I think Gibson is clearly better.
McKissick too.
Yeah, McKissick, he's a great pass catching back as well. So this is a bad team. It's kind of confusing that they're not better because if you look at all the pieces, you would think that they're at least bad, but they're not. They're bad.
This was supposed to be the past couple of years. They were supposed to continue to trend upwards, and they just haven't.
Yeah,
wild card was the peak of this Ron Rivera era.
No, it really was. And maybe Taylor Heineke catches some magic and they run with it. It'll be interesting. So here is the tier list right now. I think I think we need to send some of these teams down. I think we should probably take like at least a team in good and at least a team in any given Sunday and push them both down. Because I think these are it's a little too top heavy in my opinion. The league is too even for this to be this many good teams.
I think the fact that it's even, it makes sense that there's so many teams in these. This is a good team in any given Sunday teams. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 17 teams just mid-pack, and then there's some bad teams.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you move down? What would you change? I think this is a pretty fair list. I feel like you want to come after who did you not like?
If anything, the teams
the Ravens.
I would maybe move the Ravens down a spot. And I know that's crazy to say, but like there's a lot of internal issues with the Ravens right now. I mean, the Lamar contract, you have players coming out criticizing the coach. A
Who came
lot of
out?
the players, who was it today? It was, I think Dobbins was requesting a trade.
Nice. Well, he's not getting used. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I saw that who is it? Who's their other guy? Kenyon Drake was getting like
Yep.
70% of the touches or something like that.
Yeah,
J.K.
this
Dobbins
team,
was-
it feels like I wish there was a category between these two. I
Put
don't know.
them
I
in the-
guess you're right though. Right now, all these teams look good, and I think it's because it's early in the season.
Yeah.
I think when we do this week 14, we're not going to think there's this many good teams.
Probably not. We're gonna learn a lot of things.
Yep.
This, it's mid-October. I always say the season starts in October. First month, you're feeling it out, figuring out, who you are.
Yep.
And then, then you kind of piece it together who's who and who's not. I agree with a lot of these teams. I'm trying to find someone to move.
Like I think the Cardinals and Seattle, like I know Seattle's been fun, but they've deserved it. Like a lot of these any given Sunday teams to me are a little suspect. Like I'm a little suspect of Atlanta, but they've earned it. Though it doesn't make any sense. Like,
Dude, the NFC is so weak that like all these teams you're saying, Cardinals, Falcons, not the Seahawks really, but I could argue that they make the playoffs. I really
Yeah.
could. I think. I mean, it's tough because all these teams are so much parity. Everyone's 3-3 right now.
Yep.
And at some point or another, a lot of these teams we have here have impressed me. Seahawks, they have good quarterback play.
Yeah.
Cardinals have an electrifying quarterback. Falcons, they have a very impressive run attack with a great coach. It's tough. It's very tough. There's teams I would honestly argue you could move up, like the Raiders or the Lions or the Saints. And we're not going to touch them. I know you're shaking your head, but I don't know.
the Lions deserve to be in bad, and really, I think there's a good chance that they're in this category.
I'm going to keep just loving the Lions until I get bonked on the head to death by that team. I'm going to be sadder for you when they start losing.
I'm in. If they do not look really good this week, I understand the Cowboys are good. So, and they're 7-point dogs. So like, I don't expect them necessarily to win this week. But you better fucking make Dallas sweat, man.
Yeah. Just show up. Show up and play ball.
I agree. All right, so this is the tier list. We will put this out on Twitter. We will ask you for your comments. What we should maybe do is maybe we'll blank out a couple of the teams just so people have to kind of like tune in. I don't know. Maybe if we're being
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll do some fun stuff like that. Let's talk about some. I want to throw out some underdog props as we wrap up the show here.
Love underdog.
So, did you have any in mind?
I did. I'm pulling them up here. I got four lines I like. I parlayed them. I put $2 down to win $20.
Nice.
I have Nick Chubb over 89.5 rushing yards versus Baltimore.
I like that.
He's balling, leading the league. Kyle Pitts under 44.5 for Cincinnati. He's the opposite. Devastating fantasy pick for many.
Yep.
Saquon Barkley over 100.5 total yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joe Mixon over 89.5 total yards.
Kyle
doable.
Pitts got fucking 3 targets last week.
He does not get thrown the ball. He does not get thrown the ball. He's 170 yards total this year.
Yeah. No, it's weird. It's really weird what's going on with Kyle Pitts. I don't really have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
So I agree. I like Chubb. I like Pitts. And what was the other one you said?
I have Barkley over 105 rushing and receiving yards, and then Joe Mixon over 89.5 receiving and rushing. All very doable. Joe Mixon gets the ball a lot. Saquon Barkley gets the ball a lot. Nick Chubb gets all bell cows. 3 bell cows.
I like that. Something that initially jumps out to me is Ezekiel Elliott over 59.5.
It's great.
The Detroit run defense is really, really, really bad. Look into it if you're like, no, I can't be that bad. No, it's worse than you think. I like that. There was something else I like. I also like Zach Ertz over 48.5.
I was looking at that one.
Yeah, with Hollywood Brown going down, I know Hopkins is coming in, but this is also going to be essentially Hopkins' first game of the season. So, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains for him. I expect him to look good by the end of the season. But I think this is a game where Ertz could have a little bit of impact here. And then let's see, is there anything else that I am feeling? Christian Kirk, really only 58.5 yards. I like Christian Kirk.
Do you like Trevor Lawrence though?
I don't like Trevor Lawrence. That's a good point. I forgot that I don't like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, very understandable.
I don't know if there's a ton else I'm loving here. I'm scrolling through quickly.
That's all right. You only need two picks to put a parlay together, and then you're off and running.
Yeah, you are. And know what's also interesting here? I see Zach Wilson at 203 passing yards. As low as a number that is, the Broncos have been that good, and the Jets have really done a good job of not letting Zach Wilson ruin games for them. I could see the Jets. Again, they only threw the ball 6 times in the second half last week. I mean,
that's crazy.
I could see that under hitting as well. So stuff to just chew on, guys. Chew on to all those.
Hell yeah. Do you wanna before we wrap it up for official, do you want to hear my card?
Oh yeah, no. So this is Jared is a psychopath, and he just reads off 100 plays that he likes.
I only have 8 this week.
Only have 8. Now, what I'm doing every week is I am round robining these, and that's a hard thing to say. If you don't know what a round robin is, it is too complicated for me to explain. But essentially, it takes a parlay and it makes it into a bunch of little tiny parlays that you need to put tiny little dollar amounts on. And essentially what it does is it reduces the max potential you can earn, but also like raises the floor. So it raises your floor, lowers your ceiling a little bit in terms of earnings. And it's a fun way to do things. So with that said, I earned like $5 off Jared's crazy round robin last week. Let's hear what you got this week.
Yeah, I think I went like 8-5 last week or something like that. It was a fair week. Yep. Started off 5-1 or 5-2, I should say. That Thursday night game over was one of my worst bets ever. And then kind of fell apart at the end. But this week, I have the 3 picks I had at the beginning of the show, which in order are the Giants +3, Falcons 6.5, and Titans -2.5. I also have the Seahawks +6.5 versus the Chargers. You all know I hate the Chargers, and I just expressed my love for the Seahawks and Geno Smith.
Yep.
I also have the over in that at 51.5. So 2 picks on that game. I have the Raiders -7 versus the Texans. I think they're going to bury them. I have the Jets 1.5 versus the Broncos. And then to wrap it up, I got the Patriots -7.5 versus the Bears.
Yeah, I really like the Patriots. They were an honorable mention for me. I was listening to something recently, and they were talking about when to bet the Patriots, and their philosophy on it is when they play a one-dimensional offense is when you want to bet on the Patriots. And the Chicago can only run. They don't really have a passing offense at all. Nope. So when it's a one-dimensional offense, bet on them. And then when it's a dual threat offense, that like I wouldn't want to bet the Patriots, let's say, against the Bengals, because Bengals can run, they can pass. Scary spot for the Patriots. But one-dimensional, they will kick ass.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna round robin it again, and I'll let everyone know how it does. I put like 25 cents on each little like mini parlay. So it's fun. It's very low stakes, but it's fun to earn a couple bucks.
I'm glad you're having fun with my livelihood. I'm putting my rent on every pick.
Jared is not giving financial advice. I just want to put that out there.
No.
Thank you everyone for listening. We did something a little bit different this week. I hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll revisit this tier list in week 14. Enjoy.
Sleep!